At last, we finally get to meet the jealous little dirtbag that has traumatized Monika over the last few years, and I don't like him. I don't like Bernie at all. I know they're going to try to redeem him. I feel like they're going to have a happy ending for this whole situation, but at the same time, I don't like this dude. I hate this dude. This dude has literally ruined Monika's life because of his jealousy, because he thought that she was looking down upon him, because he's so full up in his own head. He says such the worst. He's the reason why she shut herself up in the cabin. He literally said, you're better off shutting yourself away in a lonely hut. That's literally why she was out there. He broke this girl. He was all she had, besides what seems like her foster mother, which I never heard that before, but apparently she has a foster mother. This dude's a dirtbag. I hate this guy. I do want this to turn out good, obviously, because what we got to sense there towards the later part. She says, despite what he told me, I'm happy I get to talk to him again. Again, she was like the whole flashback segment. We should just get into the episode. This whole beginning segment is this idea that this guy, Bernie, who seems like he's a second son of a noble family, or Count Ambard. So he's trying to make something of his life because obviously he's not going to be in a position to take over the family. And so he wants to make something of his life besides that. And so he's trying to get top grades and everything. He's trying to succeed. And his goal, and this is the main reason why I think he's so stupidly jealous and I want to punch him in the face, little brat. His main goal is that he wants to be one of the 7 sages. And he's going off to his class. Apparently he's a teacher's pet because he goes in the classroom and these guys are bullying Monika. They want to stick a spider into her mouth to make her say something because she's always quiet. I like all. Anyways, a rare W moment for Bernie. A rare moment in this entire episode that I like Bernie is the fact that he steps up, scares these dudes away. He says something effective, bullying the weak. You're not the same type of noble as me. He scares him away, goes up there. You know, she wants to pay him money. She's like, I don't have much money. I don't need your money, girl. But this turns into this cute little thing where she is just following him around like a little puppy. Bernie, I need help with this. Can you walk me through this? And yes, they're pointing out here again that Bernie is noticing that she's like really fantastic at formulas and math, but everything else she sucks at. Everything else she sucks at. Of course, getting into later the idea of the practical exams, which obviously she's not going to be good at because she can't speak in front of people. So it's everything that we kind of get a sense of her experience in school, that she was really good at these 2 things, but everything else she was not good at. And she was very secluded because she couldn't talk. But this is obviously revealing to us that she did have somebody there that she could go to, somebody that she was a friend with. But this individual, I'm just going to say it. I think that he was eventually a friend of hers. Like, I think that he really did see her as a friend at some point. But what I'm getting a feeling of here is that she was sort of something to make him feel good about himself. I really do think this guy was probably in a position where he felt isolated. He's got these expectations upon him from his family. He is the second son. That obviously does bring a lot of burdens upon itself. Yes, they are of a noble family, so they're very well off compared to most people in the world. But it still comes with its own baggage in the idea that he's probably in a position where nobody has expectations for him. The family doesn't have expectation for him. All the focus and love and attention goes to the first son, who will take over the family. They're trying to mold that person into being the next of the family. Everybody else in the family is just there as backups, basically. He's basically a backup for his brother. They're given a sense here that the way that he talks is like, she keeps coming to me because, you know, I helped her out and everything like that. Ever since I saved her, she's come to rely on me. And she's always looking up to him. And he's always guiding her. I think it just feels like one of these moments of like, yeah, of course she comes to me because I'm amazing. Yeah, of course she comes to me. She's fueling his ego because she needs him. She's codependent upon him, and he's getting this sort of feeding off of it because he's got this lost puppy that he's able to kind of help out and feel better about himself. But I think, again, gradually over time, he probably did like her. He probably did like having her around, did like her presence. And again, because she always called him amazing and stuff like that, it kind of fueled his ego like, oh yeah, somebody does think I'm incredible. Legitimately, I'm saying he probably appreciated that. I think this was a good thing for him to have somebody looking up to him and it kind of making him feel good about himself. But eventually that leads to, yes, the fact that apparently the professor at the Rutherford lab, which apparently she at some point joined, which is within this Minerva Mage Training Academy. Anyways, this professor eventually sends her off to go to this 7 Sages selection meeting. So he appointed her to go to this meeting where they're looking for somebody to possibly become one of the 7 sages. She was selected. And it's probably because the professor at some point realized, holy crap, she can do Chantless casting. And it does give an impression later on that there was a period during this time that she wasn't around Bernie. So she was training under Bernie for the longest time and constantly going to him for help, but at some point she became part of this lab, and because of what he said, which is, hey, you're really bad at this whole, practical exams, why don't you learn to shorten your casting, that way you can get through them? She's like, oh, great. So I'm guessing during this little period of time, she mastered Chantless casting. She was a part of this lab, and the professor seen that she was able to do this and sent her to go to the selection. I would assume that only like the top brass, like the professors and the university leads, would have the ability to send somebody to these selections, because they don't want to sit. If the students all had an ability to, they would all go to this selection. So I'm guessing he chose her specifically because he probably knew that she can do Chantless. But she goes in there. Once again, we're not going to reveal what happened in there. I'm assuming 2 things here. One, either the professor legit told them she can do Chantless casting, and they're like, oh, well, then send her. And then she came there and passed out, but they still select her anyways because they knew this. My ongoing theory, has been the idea that at some point she passed out, and while unconscious, she casted something. I feel like she did something to create a spell when she was unconscious, and that's why they select her. It did reveal that, yes, the Starseer, what was her name? What was she called? The Starseer witch was there. I noticed the hair, it looks just like the Starseer. Apparently she was there. It didn't really kind of give a sense of who the other ones were in that room. Either way, she passes out and she gets selected anyways. As she's leaving, it does imply that she has 2 people that she really badly wants to tell. One is her foster mother. Again, I don't recall them ever mentioning that they had a foster mother. I'm wondering if, I would assume they're still alive, because again, this isn't that long of a period of time. I mean, we get a sense of that because we see, Bernie again in this episode, and he doesn't look like he's aged much. I mean, I would assume that the academy probably has like maybe 5 years to it at least. So it's probably only been a couple of years since she's been there. I don't remember if they ever implied how long a period of time between the 2 are. Oh yeah, that's right. It said 2 years prior is when she went to the selection. So this has been 2 years. So I don't think that anything's really happened in the last 2 years, because again, after everything with Bernie and becoming selected, she goes to a hut. And then she's been there for presumably 2 years before finally she comes here. Anyways, 2 years. I'm assuming the mother's still around. Hopefully we'll get to see her again. But either way, the other person is Bernie. And of course she goes to Bernie, and immediately he's not happy. So it seems like he had heard that she was selected. And I guess that the assumption there is that she arrives in the robes, she was selected. And again, I would assume that at some point he did find out that she learned Chantless casting, and that's why he's already upset at her. There's so many layers to this. The first layer, obviously, is that Bernie doesn't like the idea that she achieved the one thing that he was setting out to do. This useless girl that he has to kind of help with everything, again, feeling his own ego. And yes, presumably at some point he did have feelings for her as a friend, but now she's arrived, she's achieved what he's seeking out to do. But the other part that seems to kind of stick out for him that he's bringing up is the fact that I taught you shorten your incantations. You already knew Chantless. That's the key thing there. He's assuming that she's always known how to do Chantless, that she's always been skilled. And I think that kind of is applying to himself in the idea that when the episode opened up, he did say, unlike my brother, I already have some innate talent within myself. And I'm thinking he's assuming that Monica has always had that as well, and that she was always lying to him, implying the idea that despite the fact that they've been with each other for that long period of time, he's just assuming that she's always been talented and that she's always been making a fool of him, which is stupid as hell. Which is, again, stupid as hell. I get it, but at the same time, I hate it. I hate this kind of crap. Again, she's been feeling his ego for so long, and now suddenly it's been deflated so fast, he wants to blame her. He made himself look like a fool, and he's wanting to blame her to make himself feel better. You were tricking me. You did this to me. You've always been great. You were looking down upon me. Again, this is the flashback that we had back when Monica was talking to Cyril in the library, and he was trying to ask her why she won't accept praise, because she's doing a fantastic job and she won't accept that. And she recalls back to him. She recalls Bernie in that scene where he's saying, you've always been looking down at me. And she's telling Cyril, I'm sorry, I can't seem to bring myself to be proud of myself. She can't be proud of herself for her achievements because this little dirtbag couldn't turn and say, Monica, good job, girl. Monica, my friend, I'm so happy for you. Inside, it's fine to be jealous. Inside, it's fine to be like, I wish I was in those robes. But no, all he can do is make up excuses for why she's winning. Because you tricked me. Because you've always been doing Unchanted. Because I went through all this trouble of teaching you how to shorten it, but you've always been able to do that. And now you're making a fool out of me. And you came here in those robes. Just to put insult to energy. Just to rub that salt in there. I hate him. It's fine. Again, I understand jealousy. I do want to empathize with Bernie. Because again, this is something that he's always sought out. This is the one thing that's going to make him stand out to his family and achieve his own personal goals. And somebody that he, deep down inside, didn't think was a talented person, somebody that was beneath him, that he was looking down upon, that person rose up and became something amazing. And it frustrates him. I get the jealousy. I get the idea of feeling like somebody just cut in line in front of you when you were trying so hard to achieve this. But at the same time, I acknowledge the idea that, Bernie, you were never going to get that position, no matter if she wasn't there or not. You're not talented as she is. You didn't pull off what she did. And it sucks because he even acknowledges her talents. And I do kind of wonder if there might be an element that it might finally reveal to him why she was so talented and why she achieved that was literally the two things that he said that she was great at. From the very beginning, he said, you're so great at magecraft formulas, you're so great at math, and those end up being the two things that literally is why she's able to do Chantless. And that might be what eventually reveals to him that he's kind of being stupid. But I don't know, there's a side of me that almost hoped that coming into this that he was going to, maybe at some point while she was gone, hidden away at her hut, that he had a realization point of, oh, that's why she achieved that. I'm an idiot. That's why she pulled that off. I'm an idiot. Or just acknowledging in his own head probably won't be one of those things where as he was saying that to her in that scene that you're looking down upon me, inside his head he's going, you're wrong, Bernie, you're wrong, Bernie. Why are you saying this to her? She's not like that. Why would you say that? It's probably going to turn into one of those things. But because of the later scene, I'm like, no, I don't think so. He's still a dirtbag. He's still a dirtbag. He's still a jealous dirtbag. We'll see, though. We'll see. Anyways, the rest of the episode, yeah, we had the whole, like, selections for the tournament that she's going to be a representative along with Elliot. We did come to find out that apparently Felix, Neil, and who is the other one? Oh, yeah, Claudia. Those three apparently were in the previous year's tournament. Come to find out apparently Felix himself, through this crazy guy named Benjamin, which, by the way, I did not like Benjamin. I did not like Benjamin. The guy was so freaking... Well, I don't mind Benjamin as a character. He's crazy and overly animated and he's goofy. I get it. I get that archetype character. It's just... like typical with these characters, it's after like 30 seconds of it, I'm like, just please stop. Like we get the joke. Stop. That's enough. Yeah. No, you don't have to keep going for. It feels like 10 minutes. I know it's not 10 minutes, but it feels like 10 minutes. Like, stop. It's fun. You're killing the joke. Anyways. Through Benjamin's overly eccentric and crazy explanations, we find out that Felix apparently is similar to Monica in how he plays chess, which, yes, kind of a little corny here, but it makes sense. His whole tactics of playing is literally, yes, it's very similar to Monica, where it's very broad in how many tactics he uses. It seems like he does have a massive playbook to go based on. But the main key thing for him, and again, it plays into his character, is the idea that he does everything possible to take out the king. He's a king-slaying strategy, which, honestly, I don't know how different this is to normal chess, but that's typically the goal of chess, is to take down the king. So it's literally like, isn't that literally everybody? Is there like a strategy that doesn't have you kill the king? It seems to imply the idea that he's very brutal. Like, he's very much so go after the king, take out the king, and all she seemed to gather from that. It's funny because she sticks on it for a while. But at the same time, it's like at some point she's like, I just want to play him. Not the fact that he uses all methods to slaughter the king. Why would the prince Denka here be so talented in killing kings? I wonder. Anyways. But it was cute kind of seeing that everybody wants to support her. You know, don't worry about your work. Just like last year, everybody supported Felix. We're going to support you. You know, just focus on your chess stuff, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, then we have a little scene with Monica, Lana, and Claudia in the fact that, yeah, Monica's telling them they're going to be playing chess. And then eventually they bring up who they're going to be playing against, which is the 3 top schools, which is the university. I hate that. Why call it the university? It's like, what's Minerva? A university? No, it's an academy. Why do they call it the university when they all are technically, by definition, universities? ? I don't know. But you know, the university, Minerva, and them. So yeah, that's what kind of sets her off. Immediately, trauma hits her. I hate this because it's like the moment she hears the name, she assumes, obviously, again, because it's only been 2 years, that Bernie's going to be there. So when they say Minerva, she immediately thinks of all the trauma from back then. Immediately drops the fork, hits the ground, starts just crying. Just loses it. Ugh. There is always the hope there, obviously, that Bernie's not going to be involved, but because we're bringing up Bernie in the beginning of the episode, of course Bernie's going to be the one that's actually not only still in Minerva, but just happens to be in the chess club too. I don't know they ever imply that he was in chess. I mean, that would make it feel less corny, I think, if Bernie was actively interested in chess. But yeah, Claudia immediately picks it up. There's somebody from a university that you don't like or you have bad experiences with. And that's when Lana says, come to my room the morning of the tournament. Promise me, okay? I love Lana so much this episode. My girl, I love her so much this episode. But yeah, that's why we cut the next day. And she wakes up to Ren's face and she's got a haircut. Apparently she's been reading because of the whole attack. They're apparently changing their strategy to have Ren and supposedly Nero at Monica's side so they can step in if anything happens, so they can help out with the defense in some way. And she's like, apparently reading romance novels. They want to make them into like some sort of shoujo romance where it's these 2 handsome men that will show up and say, what are you doing? Don't touch my woman, or something like that. And she's like, you both look like you're in your 20s wearing those outfits. You're gonna stand out. Dorks. Like the 2 little dorks. But I love them so much because of how the episode ends. I love them so much because of how the episode ends. But yeah, Lana changes her outfit. Super cute. I like Monica how she normally looks, but I have to admit the whole glasses, nerdy kind of, you know, second year look that they were kind of going for there. Super freaking cute. No matter how Monica dressed, probably gonna be super cute. But that was, again, just what's the value behind that scene. Lana obviously knows that based on what happened there, and sort of what Claudia says as well, Monica's uncomfortable because somebody from one of those schools. And so the best way to help her out is just not to stand out, to make her look completely different than what she did before. Completely dress her up, corset on to kind of improve her posture, make her sit up straight, because yeah, what this guy knows from, you know, based on his time with Monica, and she's probably assuming that as well, and she's always hunched over, she's always kind of cowardly, mussed up hair all the time, always messed up hair. Straighten her up. Straighten this girl up, that way he can't recognize her, and thus she can kind of do things naturally. And it's kind of nice because we do see that when she finally does show up in front of these guys. Yeah, she's hoping that he's not there, but then he pops up. I'm Bernie Jones, little dirtbag. It seems like there is an element here where thankfully he's not recognizing her, thus not immediately saying, oh, it's Monica Everett, the 7th Sage. What are you doing here? But at the same time, she's happy to see him again because he was a friend of hers. She's not immediately going to the dark times that she had with him. So it does seem like she's very comfortable staying there in front of him. She's not immediately cowering. But yes, as we see in the next scene, she's trying to pull herself together. She bumps into him. And yeah, it seems like he recognized her. Bringing up the fact that she's got a similar name to an acquaintance. In her head, she's thinking, of course, he doesn't recognize me as a friend anymore. So, of course, he would say acquaintance, not a friend. But he questions, have you been at this academy for a while? Is there a reason you can't say? I would assume that he's picking up that it's Monica Everett. I'm assuming that he knows, because why would he ask a question like that? My original assumption when he first shows up and says, have you been here for a while? I literally thought that he had a crush on her, which I'm like, this is going to go in a really bad direction, isn't it? And it could still go that direction. And the idea that he's asking these questions and she thinks that he's angry, but in actuality, he's trying to be charming and it's coming across to her because she's afraid as anger. And we're going to kind of find out that, yes, Bernie Jones has a crush on Monica Norton. Not, our Monica. He has a crush on this nerdy little girl with straightened up posture and everything. And that's what it's going to turn out to be. He's going to keep pursuing her. She's going to think that he's after her and angry at her and knows it's her. And it's going to turn out that the entire time he just has a crush. And he's going to ask her on a date. And eventually he's going to learn the truth. I don't want that. I hate that so much. But I think it could turn into that. He could be saying, you have the same name as an acquaintance of mine, because he himself, again, like I said earlier, regrets what he said to Monica Everett. And he could end up, again, trying to pursue Monica Norton as a girlfriend. And eventually, maybe during a outing with each other, he says that he massively regrets what he said to the Monica Everett, one of the Seven Sages. And I think that might turn into an idea where she finally gets closure through that, and that Bernie never does reveal or figure out that it is her. That he's going to end up admitting his own regrets while he thinks he's talking to somebody else. And then he ends up parting ways with her. And that will give Monica that closure of, oh, he was jealous and he said that and he regrets it. And I accept that apology. I think that's where it's sort of going. But in this moment, all she can think of is he's angry again. Just like back then, where he literally rebuked me, and he was so mad at me, and he was angry at me, and he told me to go off some hut. I hate it. But yes, Nero shows up. Don't put your hands on my woman. Nero! And then Ren shows up, and she's like, I so badly want to thank you both, but please go back to being a cat and a bird. I love the two of them so much in that moment. I'm like, oh my gosh, I love Rin. I love Nero so freaking much. I want to hug them. Saving my poor girl from like this massive amount of trauma that she's just has right there with Bernie just speaking into her ear like that. Ugh. I want to strangle Bernie so much. We'll see though. I guess the other thing that could be, instead of him, again, pursuing her as like a love interest and then revealing it, it could just be that when they have a match together, because they're going to have a match together. They're totally going to have a match together. Maybe while they're having a match, he reveals that, like talks about a friend that he had and how he regrets it. Either way, I think that's how it's going to turn out. I think either way, he's going to admit it to Monica Norton that he regrets what he did to Monica Everett. Anyways, that's my thoughts on episode 10 of Silent Witch. Again, I'm glad to have this series come back, and I missed my Monica. I missed my Monica. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, hit the like button down below. If you like this content, you want to support down more, become a member of the channel. Until next time, y'all take care.